What if the smile on someone's face hides a resentment so deep, it's eating them alive? Welcome to Jung Psyche Hub, where we dive into the hidden truths of human behavior through Carl Jung's timeless wisdom. Sometimes, the cold glances, the subtle snubs, or the unexplained distance you feel aren't just random, they're signs of a silent hatred rooted in someone else's darkness. But here's the game changer. Their secret resentment isn't about your flaws, it's about their shadows. In this video, we'll uncover 9 reasons people secretly hate you, using Carl Jung's insights on the shadow, projection, and individuation to reveal why your light triggers their pain. More importantly, you'll learn practical steps to protect your peace, set unshakable boundaries, and turn their negativity into your strength. Are you ready to see through their masks and build a life so powerful no one can dim your shine? Let's dive in and discover the truth together. Your achievements, whether a promotion, a personal milestone, or simply the confidence you exude, can light up a room. But for some, that light casts a shadow they can't bear to face. Welcome to the first reason. People secretly hate you. Your success triggers their shadow. Carl Jung taught us that the shadow is the hidden part of someone's psyche filled with envy, insecurity, or unhealed wounds that they refuse to confront. When your wins shine brightly, they become a mirror, reflecting what others feel they lack. Instead of celebrating you, they project their pain, turning admiration into resentment. Consider Lisa, a marketing coordinator who landed a big promotion after months of hard work. Her colleagues threw her a smile. But one, Tom, grew cold. He stopped joining team lunches, made snide comments about her lucky break, and spread whispers that she didn't deserve it. Lisa was confused. She'd never wronged Tom. But Carl Jung's concept of projection explains it. Tom's shadow, his own unfulfilled ambitions, couldn't handle Lisa's success. Her rise exposed his stagnation, and instead of facing it, he aimed his resentment at her. This dynamic isn't about you, it's about them. Your success, whether in your career, relationships, or personal growth, forces others to confront their insecurities. Carl Jung's idea of the shadow shows us that people often lash out not because you've done wrong, but because your light reveals their darkness. They might downplay your achievements, gossip, or distance themselves, all to avoid their own inner work. But here's the power of Carl Jung's wisdom. You don't have to dim your shine to make them comfortable. So, how do you protect yourself when your success triggers their shadow? First, recognize the signs. If someone suddenly grows distant, makes passive-aggressive remarks, or undermines your wins, it's likely their shadow at play. Don't take it personally. See it as their struggle, not yours. Second, keep pushing forward. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, becoming your truest self, means staying focused on your path, not their reactions. Don't shrink to avoid their envy. Let your success speak for itself. Try this practical step, the Success Anchor exercise. Write down 3 achievements you're proud of, big or small. Next, list 1 action to keep growing, like taking on a new project or celebrating a milestone. For Lisa, this meant documenting her contributions and pitching a new campaign, reinforcing her worth. Despite Tom's resentment, this exercise roots you in your truth, making their projections powerless. Carl Jung reminds us that your success isn't the problem, their shadow is. Their resentment is a reflection of their inner battle, not your value. By embracing individuation, you turn their negativity into fuel for your growth. Keep shining, not to provoke, but to live authentically, Their shadow can't dim your light unless you let it. Stay focused. Stay bold. And let your success be the story you write. Living true to who you are is a powerful act. But for some, it's a threat they can't handle. The second reason people secretly hate you: your authenticity exposes their false self. Carl Jung taught us that the false self is a mask people wear to hide their shadow, the parts of themselves they're ashamed of or unwilling to face. When you live authentically, embracing your values and truth, you become a mirror that reflects their inauthenticity. Instead of confronting their own facade, some turn their discomfort into resentment, targeting you for simply being real. Take Mark, a freelance writer who chose to live by his principles, prioritizing creative freedom over chasing trends. His friends admired his passion at first. But one, Sarah, grew distant. She started making snarky comments about his unrealistic lifestyle, implying he thought he was better than others. Mark was puzzled. He'd always supported Sarah. But Carl Jung's concept of the false self explains it. Sarah's polished persona, built to fit in, clashed with Mark's raw authenticity. His truth forced her to see her own compromises. And instead of facing them, she projected her unease onto him. Your authenticity, whether it's speaking your mind, pursuing your passions, or refusing to conform, can make others feel exposed. Carl Jung's idea of the shadow shows that people who hide behind a false self often resent those who don't. They might mock your choices, distance themselves, or subtly undermine you, all to avoid their own inner conflict. But Carl Jung's path to individuation, becoming your truest self, teaches you to keep shining, not to shrink for their comfort. So, how do you protect yourself when your authenticity triggers their false self? First, spot the signs. If someone criticizes your choices without reason, grows cold when you express your truth, or seems threatened by your confidence, their false self is at play. Don't let their reaction make you doubt yourself. See it as their struggle. Second, stay true to your values. Individuation means living for your own growth, not their approval. Set boundaries with those who can't handle your authenticity. Try this practical step, the authenticity anchor exercise. Write down 3 core values that define you, like creativity, honesty, or courage. Then, list 1. Action to embody each value this week, like speaking up in a meeting or pursuing a passion project. For Mark, this meant pitching a bold article idea despite Sarah's jabs. This exercise keeps you grounded in your truth, making their projections irrelevant. Carl Jung reminds us that their resentment reflects their shadow, not your worth. Your authenticity isn't the problem, it's their inability to face themselves. Keep living boldly, not to provoke, but to honor your journey. Their false self can't dim your truth unless you let it. Stay real, stay strong, and let your life be a testament to individuation. Your confidence, the way you carry yourself. Speak your truth, or own. Your space can be a beacon of strength, but for some, it's a spotlight on their deepest fears. The third reason people secretly hate you: your confidence threatens their insecurity. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow reveals that unacknowledged insecurities, like self-doubt or feelings of inadequacy, lurk in everyone's psyche. When your self-assured presence shines, it exposes their hidden struggles, and instead of facing them, they project their pain onto you, turning admiration into resentment. Consider Emma, a project manager who walked into meetings with poise, pitching bold ideas with conviction. Most colleagues respected her. But one, Rachel, grew sharp. Rachel started questioning Emma's decisions, rolling her eyes at her suggestions, and whispering that she was overconfident. Emma was stunned. She'd always been professional. Carl Jung's idea of projection explains this. Rachel's shadow, her own lack of confidence, couldn't handle Emma's strength. Emma's assurance mirrored Rachel's self-doubt, and instead of confronting it, Rachel lashed out with subtle hostility. Your confidence, whether in your skills, decisions, or identity, can unsettle those wrestling with their own insecurities. Carl Jung's complexes, unconscious emotional triggers, show that when someone feels inferior, your strength becomes a threat. They might criticize you, undermine your ideas, or dismiss your achievements, all to avoid their own inner work. But Carl Jung's path to individuation, embracing your true self, teaches you to hold your ground, not dim your confidence to ease their discomfort. So, how do you protect yourself when your confidence triggers their insecurity? First, recognize the signs. If someone nitpicks your actions, dismisses your contributions, or seems irritated by your self-assurance, it's their shadow speaking. Don't internalize their criticism. See it as their struggle. Second, nurture your confidence. Individuation means owning your strengths without apology. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your light, not those who resent it. Try this practical step, the confidence anchor exercise. Write down 3 moments you felt confident, like nailing a presentation or standing up for yourself. Then, list 1 action to boost your confidence this week, like speaking up in a group or tackling a new challenge. For Emma, this meant delivering her next pitch, even bolder. Ignoring Rachel's jabs. This exercise roots you in your strength, making their projections powerless. Carl Jung reminds us that their resentment reflects their shadow, not your worth. Your confidence isn't the problem, it's their inability to face their insecurities. Keep standing tall, not to provoke, but to honor your journey. Their doubts can't shake your strength unless you let them. Stay bold, stay true, and let your confidence be your shield. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. But for some, it feels like a direct attack. The 4th reason, people secretly hate you. Your boundaries challenge their control. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow reveals that some people hide a need for dominance or validation in their unacknowledged insecurities. When you set clear limits, saying no, protecting your time, or prioritizing your needs, you disrupt their ability to influence you. Instead of respecting your strength, they project their frustration onto you, turning their loss of control into quiet resentment. Consider Alex, a graphic designer who always helped his friend Mike with last-minute favors. When Alex started saying no to protect his work-life balance, Mike's demeanor changed. He made snarky remarks about Alex being too busy or selfish, and even guilt-tripped him in group chats. Alex was baffled. He'd only set reasonable boundaries. Carl Jung's idea of projection explains this. Mike's shadow, his need to control others to feel secure, couldn't handle Alex's independence. Alex's boundaries exposed Mike's insecurity, and instead of facing it, Mike lashed out with subtle hostility. Your boundaries, whether guarding your time, energy, or values, threaten those who rely on your compliance. Carl Jung's complexes show that a need for control often stems from inner fears of inadequacy. They might criticize your limits, manipulate you with guilt, or distance themselves to avoid feeling powerless. But Carl Jung's path to individuation, becoming your truest self, teaches you to hold firm. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're essential for your growth. So, how do you protect yourself when your boundaries trigger their need for control? First, spot the signs. If someone reacts with sarcasm, guilt trips, or coldness when you set limits, It's their shadow at play. Don't feel guilty. See it as their struggle. Second, reinforce your boundaries. Individuation means valuing your needs without apology. Surround yourself with people who respect your limits, not those who resent them. Try this practical step, the boundary builder exercise. Write down 3 boundaries you've set, like saying no to extra work or limiting toxic conversations. Then, list 1 action to strengthen them, like calmly restating your limit or walking away from manipulation. For Alex, this meant politely declining Mike's demands and focusing on his own projects. This exercise anchors you in your self-respect, making their projections powerless. Carl Jung reminds us that their resentment reflects their shadow, not your worth. Your boundaries aren't the problem. It's their inability to handle losing control. Keep standing firm, not to provoke, but to honor your journey. Their need for dominance can't shake your strength unless you let it. Stay resolute, stay true, and let your boundaries be your shield. Your joy, whether it's a smile, a burst of laughter, or the glow of contentment, can light up the world. But for some, it's a painful reminder of what they're missing. The 5th reason, people secretly hate you. Your happiness reflects their unhappiness. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow shows that unacknowledged pain, like unhealed wounds or suppressed discontent, festers in the psyche. When your happiness shines, it becomes a mirror exposing their inner turmoil. Instead of finding inspiration, they project their bitterness onto you, turning their darkness into quiet resentment. Take Sarah, a teacher who radiated positivity despite a demanding job. Her colleagues admired her energy. But one, David, grew distant. He started making snide remarks about her cheery act or dismissed her optimism as fake. Sarah was confused. She'd always been kind to David. Carl Jung's idea of projection explains this. David's shadow, his own dissatisfaction with life, couldn't bear Sarah's joy. Her happiness highlighted his misery, and instead of facing it, he targeted her with subtle hostility. Your happiness, whether from personal wins, strong relationships, or inner peace, can unsettle those grappling with their own sorrow. Carl Jung's complexes reveal that unresolved pain often triggers defensive reactions. They might mock your positivity, distance themselves, or try to dim your light, all to avoid confronting their own unhappiness. But Carl Jung's path to individuation, embracing your true self, teaches you to keep shining, not to dull your joy for their comfort. So, how do you protect yourself when your happiness triggers their unhappiness? First, recognize the signs. If someone scoffs at your positivity, grows cold when you're thriving, or undermines your joy, it's their shadow at work. Don't let their bitterness dim your light. See it as their struggle. Second, nurture your happiness. Individuation means cherishing your inner peace and surrounding yourself with those who uplift you, not those who resent your glow. Try this practical step, the joy anchor exercise. Write down 3 moments you felt truly happy, like a meaningful conversation or a personal achievement. Then, list 1 action to cultivate more joy this week, like spending time with loved ones or practicing gratitude. For Sarah, this meant sharing her positivity with supportive colleagues, ignoring David's negativity. This exercise roots you in your happiness, making their projections powerless. Carl Jung reminds us that their resentment reflects their shadow, not your worth. Your happiness isn't the problem, it's their inability to face their pain. Keep radiating joy, not to provoke, but to honor your journey. Their darkness can't dim your light unless you let it. Stay vibrant, stay true, and let your happiness be your strength. Your ability to stand on your own, making decisions, chasing dreams, or carving your own path is a testament to your strength. But for some, it's a challenge they can't stomach. The sixth reason: people secretly hate you. Your independence threatens their need for validation. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow reveals that some people hide a deep craving for external approval in their unacknowledged insecurities. When you live independently, relying on your own judgment, you expose their reliance on others' validation. Instead of finding inspiration, they project their discomfort onto you, turning it into quiet resentment. Take James, a college student who decided to pursue a startup instead of following his family's expectations of a traditional career. His bold choice was met with criticism from his cousin, Lisa, who called him reckless and stopped inviting him to family gatherings. James was hurt. He'd always been close to Lisa. Carl Jung's idea of projection explains this. Lisa's shadow, her need for family approval, couldn't handle James's independence. His self-reliance mirrored her dependence, and instead of confronting it, she targeted him with subtle hostility. Your independence, whether in career choices, personal beliefs, or lifestyle, can unsettle those who seek validation from others. Carl Jung's complexes show that a need for approval often stems from inner fears of inadequacy. They might belittle your decisions, guilt-trip you, or distance themselves to avoid feeling insignificant. But Carl Jung's path to individuation, embracing your true self, teaches you to stay true to your path, not to shrink for their comfort. So, how do you protect yourself when your independence triggers their need for validation? First, spot the signs. If someone criticizes your choices, manipulates you with guilt, or grows cold when you act independently, it's their shadow at work. Don't let their reactions sway you, see it as their struggle. Second, embrace your autonomy. Individuation means trusting your own compass and surrounding yourself with those who respect your freedom, not those who resent it. Try this practical step, the Independence Anchor exercise. Write down 3 moments you felt proud of your independence, like making a tough decision or pursuing a personal goal. Then, list 1 action to reinforce your autonomy this week, like setting a new goal or saying no to external pressures. For James, this meant focusing on his startup and connecting with mentors who supported his vision. This exercise roots you in your self-reliance, making their projections powerless. Carl Jung reminds us that their resentment reflects their shadow, not your worth. Your independence isn't the problem. It's their inability to face their need for validation. Keep forging your path, not to provoke, but to honor your journey. Their insecurities can't derail your freedom unless you let them. Stay bold, stay free, and let your independence be your power. Your journey of growth, pushing past limits, chasing dreams, or evolving into your best self, is a powerful force. But for some, it's a painful reminder of their own standstill. The 7th reason people secretly hate you: your growth exposes their stagnation. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow reveals that unacknowledged fears, like the dread of being left behind, fester in the psyche. When your progress shines, it becomes a mirror reflecting their lack of movement. Instead of finding motivation, they project their discomfort onto you, turning their frustration into quiet resentment. Consider Rachel, an aspiring entrepreneur who left her job to launch a small business. Her bold steps inspired some friends, but one, Emily, grew distant. Emily started making snide comments about Rachel's risky choices and dismissed her progress as just luck. Rachel was hurt. She'd always supported Emily. Carl Jung's idea of projection explains this. Emily's shadow, her fear of stagnation, couldn't handle Rachel's growth. Rachel's success highlighted Emily's inertia, and instead of confronting it, Emily targeted her with subtle hostility. Your growth, whether in career, personal development, or mindset, can unsettle those stuck in their own lives. Carl Jung's complexes show that fear of stagnation often triggers defensive reactions. They might belittle your achievements, criticize your ambitions, or distance themselves to avoid facing their own lack of progress. But Carl Jung's path to individuation, becoming your truest self, teaches you to keep evolving, not to pause for their comfort. So, how do you protect yourself when your growth triggers their stagnation? First, spot the signs. If someone downplays your progress, grows cold when you share your goals, or seems threatened by your ambition, it's their shadow at play. Don't let their negativity slow you down. See it as their struggle. Second, stay committed to your growth. Individuation means focusing on your journey and surrounding yourself with those who inspire you, not those who resent your progress. Try this practical step, the growth anchor exercise. Write down 3 moments of personal growth, like learning a new skill or overcoming a challenge. Then, list 1 action to keep growing this week, like setting a new goal or joining a supportive community. For Rachel, this meant networking with other entrepreneurs. Ignoring Emily's remarks, this exercise roots you in your progress. Making their projections powerless, Carl Jung reminds us that their resentment reflects their shadow, not your worth. Your growth isn't the problem, it's their inability to face their stagnation. Keep pushing forward, not to provoke, but to honor your journey. Their fears can't halt your progress unless you let them. Stay driven, stay true, and let your growth be your strength. Your kindness offering help, showing empathy, or giving without expecting, in return is a gift to the world. But for some, it's a target they mistake for vulnerability. The 8th reason people secretly hate you. Your kindness is seen as weakness. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow reveals that some hide cynicism or insecurity in their unacknowledged flaws. When your generosity shines, it exposes their guarded nature or inability to trust. Instead of valuing your heart, they project their skepticism onto you, turning your compassion into quiet resentment. Take David, a nurse who always went the extra mile for his colleagues, covering shifts and offering support. Most appreciated him. But one co-worker, Claire, grew cold. She mocked his people-pleasing ways and took advantage of his help without gratitude. David was stunned. He'd only been kind. Carl Jung's idea of projection explains this. Claire's shadow, her own distrust and guardedness, couldn't handle David's openness. His kindness mirrored her cynicism, and instead of confronting it, she targeted him with subtle hostility. Your kindness, whether through acts of service, empathy, or forgiveness, can unsettle those who see vulnerability as a flaw. Carl Jung's complexes show that cynicism often stems from inner fears of being hurt or exploited. They might exploit your generosity, belittle your efforts, or distance themselves to avoid facing their own guarded hearts. But Carl Jung's path to individuation, embracing your true self, teaches you to stay compassionate while protecting your energy, not to stop being kind, to avoid their judgment. So, how do you protect yourself when your kindness is mistaken for weakness? First, spot the signs. If someone mocks your generosity, takes advantage without reciprocating, or grows cold when you're compassionate, it's their shadow at play. Don't let their cynicism dim your heart, see it as their struggle. Second, balance kindness with boundaries. Individuation means offering your light to those who value it, not those who exploit it. Try this practical step, the kindness anchor exercise. Write down 3 acts of kindness you're proud of, like helping a friend or showing patience. Then, list 1 action to protect your energy this week, like setting a limit on favors or saying no to one-sided relationships. For David, this meant politely declining Claire's extra requests and focusing on supportive colleagues. This exercise roots you in your compassion while shielding you from manipulation. Carl Jung reminds us that their resentment reflects their shadow, not your worth. Your kindness isn't the problem, it's their inability to trust or open up. Keep giving, generously, not to prove a point, but to honor your journey. Their cynicism can't dim your heart unless you let it. Stay kind, stay strong, and let your compassion be your power, your inner light, the unique blend of your energy, purpose, and authenticity can inspire and uplift. But for some, it's a blinding glare on their deepest shadows. The 9th reason people secretly hate you: your light triggers their darkness. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow teaches that the parts of ourselves we suppress, fear, shame, or unresolved pain lurk in the unconscious. When your vibrant presence shines, it becomes a mirror, exposing their hidden struggles. Instead of embracing inspiration, they project their inner turmoil onto you, turning their darkness into quiet resentment. Take Mia, an artist whose passion and positivity lit up every room. Her friends loved her energy. But one, Tom, grew cold. He started dismissing her work as overhyped and avoided her events, even spreading rumors about her ego. Mia was heartbroken. She'd always encouraged Tom. Carl Jung's idea of projection explains this. Tom's shadow, his own unfulfilled dreams and self-doubt, couldn't handle Mia's radiance. Her light exposed his darkness, and instead of facing it, he targeted her with subtle hostility. Your light, your creativity, enthusiasm, or unshakable purpose can unsettle those wrestling with their own shadows. Carl Jung's complexes reveal that unresolved pain often sparks defensive reactions. They might belittle your passion, distance themselves, or try to dim your shine, all to avoid confronting their own darkness. But Carl Jung's path to individuation, becoming your truest self, teaches you to keep glowing, not to hide your light for their comfort. So, how do you protect yourself when your light triggers their darkness? First, spot the signs. If someone mocks your passion, grows distant when you shine, or undermines your energy, it's their shadow at play. Don't dim yourself. See it as their struggle. Second, embrace your radiance. Individuation means living boldly and surrounding yourself with those who celebrate your light, not those who resent it. Try this practical step, the light anchor exercise. Write down 3 moments your light shone brightly, like creating something meaningful or inspiring others. Then, list 1 action to amplify your light this week, like sharing your work or connecting with supportive people. For Mia, this meant showcasing her art at a gallery, ignoring Tom's negativity. This exercise roots you in your purpose, making their projections powerless. Carl Jung reminds us that their resentment reflects their shadow, not your worth. Your light isn't the problem, it's their inability to face their darkness. Keep shining, not to provoke, but to honor your journey. Their shadows can't dim your radiance unless you let them. Stay vibrant, stay true, and let your light be your power. You've just uncovered the 9 reasons people secretly hate you, and it's not about your flaws. It's about their shadows, from your success to your radiant light. You've seen how your strength exposes their unresolved pain through Carl Jung's lens of the shadow. projection, and individuation. But here's the truth. Their darkness can't dim your shine unless you let it. You're not here to shrink, to apologize, or to carry their burdens. You're here to rise, to grow, and to live authentically. Every time you set a boundary, embrace your confidence, or radiate joy. You're forging a path to individuation that no resentment can touch. This is your moment to take back your power. Don't let their projections define your story. Let your truth write the ending. If this video sparked a fire in you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and join the Jung Psyche Hub community to dive deeper into your journey of self-discovery. Share this video with someone who needs to see through the shadows in their life. And drop a comment below. What's one way you're shining brighter, despite the haters? Let's inspire each other to live untouchable lives. Your light is your power. Own it, protect it, and let it blaze. Start now.